Hi, my name is Zachary Will. I'm a Atlanta-based videographer, and today I'm going to go over some techniques that I used for my film, An Immigrant German Baker. It's kind of like a historical documentary about my great-great-grandfather, and I had to use a lot of photos because obviously there's not a ton of videos from 1900. And so I wanted to show you some techniques that I used to kind of like amp up some of these photos. I used Blender for some of those. And if you've never used Blender before, this is a super, super simple technique.
These days, anyone can operate a sound projector.
Doesn't require any modeling, just very simple, very, very simple. So we're going to dive into Blender. You don't really need a ton of experience with Blender to know how to do this. Let's dive in. All right, so we got Blender turned on. I just clicked off of that opening scene, and we're greeted with just a new file. First thing we want to do is just get rid of this cube in the middle here. We're just going to click X and then click Delete. And then by pressing down on the middle key, I can just kind of turn around inside of this environment and kind of drag around. I'm going to first move this camera here, and if I click this little button over here, I can see all of its settings. It's kind of like at an angle right now, and we're just going to transform it all the way down to 0 and 0, and then up to 90 degrees on that axis. So it's just like just a flat camera. Okay, and then I just hit this over here. Obviously, if you know Blender, you'll know these things, but just saying some of them. And that's just the transform tool, just so I can change the positioning of it. All right, next, we're going to bring in our image. Now, first thing you're going to want to make sure that you have is an add-on. All right, to install this, we're going to click Edit, and then we're going to go to Preferences. And now we're going to click add-ons, obviously, and you're going to look at for import images as planes, and you're just going to want to check mark that. Now, if you already have that selected, you can click Shift A, and you're going to come down to image as planes. All right, and now we're going to pick out our picture. So let me open up my files here. And let's import, let's just import this one. Okay, so now we have this image, and it's just a plane right now, and you can't really see anything. But if we come up here, we can change the render mode. Right now we just have, or the shading mode. Right now it's just the solid image. You got the wireframe. And then you click one over, and you get textures. So now you can see the texture on the plane here. And then if you click one over, this one has the lighting that's being applied. So for lighting right now, all we have is this, this area light, and I'm just going to delete that. Next I'm going to click Shift A, and then I'm going to add a light. We're going to add a spotlight, just because you can control spotlights way better. And you can control where the lighting's going. Next, I went over here to the, this is the inspector, and I'm just going to increase the brightness quite a bit. And it's not quite hitting, oh, there we go. Now we're hitting us, and I want it to be a little bit more spotty, so I'm going to reduce this cone size. You see how now we're getting these like cone layer sides, and I'm just going to increase this blend quite a bit too. Let's maybe try increasing the brightness again, reducing this a little bit. I just kind of want like that to be a little feathered rather than too bright. So maybe something like that. That looks pretty good. Now we have the lighting on there. I'm going to add in some new images here. We're going to click Images, Planes. I'm going to pick up some other pictures here.
The film is a celluloid strip, perforated along one edge. A gelatin coating on one side contains the images of pictures and recorded sound.
All right, we got another picture right there. Let me add in just a couple more. All right, well, these are both the same picture, but I'm going to pull them both forward just so that we have something to kind of push the camera through into the other picture. They are both, let's make sure that they're both a little bit more center there. Awesome. Now I'm going to take this and I'm just going to Command C, or here we go, just copy, paste, Control V. All right, so now there should be a couple of them right here, so we can kind of just adjust them a little bit. And yeah, that's looking pretty good. All right, now we're going to come up to this corner here, pull it over, and we're going to click View, and we're going to pick Viewpoint Camera. That'll make sure that this is seeing what the camera is seeing. And we're going to switch this one over to the render view as well. So then we're going to pull this down. Awesome. And pull it back a little bit. And actually, going to center this up a little bit. Now, something that I'd love to do is maybe just copy this, paste, and just kind of like create kind of like an aisle. Maybe we'll just do one more of these. Right, something like that. Okay. Now I'm going to pull the camera back just a little bit further. All right, so we'll start back over here. Now this is where I want it to start. So we're going to come down here, right? We're at frame 1. I'm going to press I, and then I'm just going to click probably just location, rotation, and scale. And this is going to add a keyframe right there. And then we're going to come all the way to the end. And let's find the spot that we want it to end at. Maybe just like that. Press I, location, rotation, scale. And now it's doing just a little push in. Perfect. All right. Now, one thing to note is that you see how the background's gray? When we render this out, it's going to come out gray too. So we need to change that. So we're going to come to this little world icon, and then we're going to choose this color here. We'll pick black. Now, of course, once we pick black, now we're losing kind of that ambient light the gray was kind of casting on everything. So we need to add that ambience back into this picture. So I'm going to hit Shift A, and we're going to add in just another light source, and we're going to do, let's just do point. And see how it's adding in some of that, those corners back in. So kind of do this to taste. I'm going to take Control C, Control V, and I'm going to take the second point, right? I'm going to pull that just a little bit further. Control C, Control V, and then I'm going to continue to bring these forward. And then maybe even one more. Control C, Control V. Just so that even these front pictures are getting a little bit little bit of something on those corners. So we've got this little scene where we're just kind of pulling into this. All right. Now what else we can do is we can also keyframe some of the lighting. So maybe we have these, you can drag this light, right? So we're just going to start, so that's full power right there. And maybe we'll go back a couple frames, go to 0. So now forgot to set a keyframe. 0, keyframe right there. And now we'll go back. Boom, lighting turns on. Cool. And now we're going to render this out. So we're going to come over here, render properties. We want to turn on motion blur. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to come to this little like printer icon. And this is where we control how we render this out. So we have resolution. So we have an HD image right now. We could change that to 4K if we wanted to. And then right here we have output. We select the folder. And then what I like to export out as is AVI JPEG. It just seems to be the best for all-in-one videos. If you want like the highest quality, maybe PNGs or something. But this will export out as a complete video sequence that you can just drag right into Premiere. So if you want to render this out, just come up here, render animation, and then it will render it out frame by frame. And that might take a couple minutes. But that's basically how you do that inside of Blender. All right, I just wanted to show you how you can do the same thing in After Effects as well. Just hit New Comp. We're just going to go with the basic settings. Now we're going to drag these images that we have right into here. Please hold. Let's just drag these couple pictures right into here. So we have our pictures, and we're going to add a couple settings right here. We're going to pick all of these and turn on the 3D layer. If you don't see that, you're going to want to click toggle switches and modes until you see these. Next, we are going to open up 2 views so we can see top down and active camera. Next, we're going to right click over here, click new camera. We're just going to add a camera in. Perfect. Now, one of the benefits of doing this in After Effects versus Blender is that in Blender, unfortunately, for some reason, I don't know if I was doing something wrong, but I couldn't get the depth of field to work. But in here, you can get that depth of field to work. So let's take these images, right? We're going to do something similar where we just have kind of like some pictures on the sides. Let's just pick one of these. Pull it up and over. Awesome. Now let's center up this camera just so it's nice and even. Uh-oh. Maybe just pull this image over. Yep, perfect. Now we're going to adjust the depth of field right here. We have it turned on. Let's also add the position keyframe. While we're here, we're going to change the focus distance. You can see the focus distance right here. It's actually that bar, and as I'm dragging this, you'll see them all pop into focus. You will see if I pull these images up, they will pull out of focus, and this one will pull into focus. So what I want to do is maybe I'll start with the position back further. Oh, nope, I was rotating there. Oh, that's kind of cool. Anyways, let's just start with what I originally said. We're going to pull back a little bit. All right, and we're going to focus in on these pictures instead. So let's go back over to the focus distance. And actually, I pulled it far enough that it pulled it right to them. Cool. Now we're going to... Oh boy, this timeline is actually set to like something crazy, so I'm going to switch that. Composition settings, 6 minutes. We do not need 6 minutes. Let's do 9 seconds. And then we're going to change the position of this camera. We're going to pull it right. Actually, we can just keep the focus distance the same. And then it will just automatically, as it pulls, it will refocus on this back picture. Right, so if I just click one view, yeah, it looks pretty good. Okay. Now something that I'd love to do, just to add more interest, is those spotlights. So now I'm going to do that new, and we're going to click light. We're going to do spotlight. Maybe bring this cone angle down to 45. We're going to go back to that 2 view, just so that we can see what we're doing. Maybe even do a 4 view. And that way I can do, kind of pull up and over closer to this picture. And then I'm going to rotate this down. Just like that. Let's go check out these settings here. Got a whole bunch of rotation options. These are all very close to just 0, so I'm just going to zero some of these out. Okay, obviously one of those I messed up, so which was that? Oh, this one right here. Okay, perfect. Cool. I think that works pretty good. Now, something that I want to do here is I want to have a little bit more feather on this. Take the feather all the way up. And I'm going to wait until this picture gets kind of more in focus to have this full intensity. Once it's out of focus, probably around here, I'm going to turn this down to 0. Maybe a little bit closer here, so we have an on kind of look. Okay, so this one's the top. I'm going to come back up here and just Control C, Control V, Control C, Control V, and then I'm going to pull one of these spotlights right up and over to one of these fronts. Now, one thing to remember is because I set this, it is dark right now. So I'm just going to turn that off just so that I can see. Actually, something that might be kind of cool for this shot is just to switch these two. So I've got the 0 right here. Okay, cool. And then I'm going to click back on this top one. Click this right to go to the next keyframe. Come back right over here. And I'm at 0 right there. Okay, cool. So that way we get that nice transition between the lighting of those two. That's pretty cool. All right. Now I have one extra light up here. And I'm just going to pull that back. Kind of weird. Sometimes this 3D stuff is kind of processor dependent. All right, now I'm going to do that same thing where I do the keyframe switcheroo. Boop right there, and then put them back up here, switch, and I'm going to pop right there. So now we have both fully lit, and then it fades back to the back one. Perfect. Let's come back to this front. Let me make sure that I have this kind of how I like it. Right now it's a little bit too full. I think I want to rotate this a little bit more so we can get more of a cone type of feel. Yeah, something like that. Cool. Now this one just looks a little bit less bright to me. So I'm just going to come up here to intensity. Maybe just pop this up a little bit. Wow, it's all the way up to 250. Maybe somewhere around there. That looks pretty good. Awesome. Whoa! This is 116. No, a little bit brighter than that. Yep, right there. Okay, cool. All right, so let's just go back to one view just so we can view this video clip. So we have these, they're all in focus, and then we have the lighting change. Whoa, okay. That was wrong. Come to this one. 0 is what it should be. You know what? I think I might want it in focus right here now. Awesome. So that's kind of how you create this in After Effects. And then obviously you just click File, Export, Add to Render Queue, pick your position, your output mode, and render.
With proper care, a 16mm film will give hundreds of good showings.
So thanks for watching this video. I hope that you would check out my new documentary film. You can check out the link in the description. Thanks so much.